Hi. It's Ipie, I guess. I feel like there's something else that comes after that. Anyway, sometimes you just need to have a good time, you know? Well, thank God I have a perfect game just for that purpose. This charming little game right here is Wandersong, a game by Greg, M, and Gord. It was funded by a successful Kickstarter campaign and published by Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle published quite a few other indie games actually, plenty I've heard of before as well. I need to come back to that one sometime. Anyway, this game was initially released in 2018 for PC, and since then has remained one of my favorite examples of using a basic game mechanic to its fullest. But in order for that to make any kind of sense, let's discuss the most important and obvious aspect of Wandersong, its music. With a name like Wandersong, music is obviously going to play a big role in all of its aspects. Frankly, I'd be kinda concerned if it didn't, which is why I feel like it's important to talk about it before anything else. To put it briefly, the music is exactly what it needs to be for a game like this. I'll get into the actual story later, but for a chilled out, and potentially existentially terrifying game, the music is pretty much perfect. There's plenty of motifs and themes that tie songs to characters and story elements packed into the soundtrack, each song with distinct, gorgeous instrumentation. I'm serious, and this soundtrack can get pretty varied. Despite the music being relatively grounded in what you would typically find in a fantasy story, it isn't afraid to cross over that line for a thematic or dramatic effect. You could be listening to a depressing string and piano piece only to be hit with a song with a dubstep-like phrase line. Things can get kinda crazy. I think of all the chapters, Chapter 2 has my favorite music. And possibly story segment. And side character, I'll get there when I get there. Since I'm on the topic of the artistic angle of this game, I'll briefly mention how dang cute this game is. The game is presented in this picture book-like visual style, with everything kinda looking like it's made out of paper. It really fits this whole cute, chilled out, and potentially existentially terrifying game for when you need a good time aesthetic that the game is going for. Returning to music, naturally music bleeds into all aspects of Wandersong. Most interestingly, and most notably, its gameplay. The primary mechanic here is called the Song Wheel, a wheel of 8 different colored notes for your playable character, the Bard, to sing. Singing allows you to do pretty much everything in the game besides running and jumping. Dialogue options, puzzle solving, even sailing a whole pirate ship is all controlled with the Song Wheel. This may seem like it would get old, but I don't know, man, it's just so fun. The idea that major mechanics in a game are controlled by your character diegetically singing is such a ridiculous concept, but I can't help but feel like singing a bit myself whenever I think about it. I won't though. It's also really impressive the amount of smaller, unique mechanics that the game squeezes out of this one bigger mechanic. See, you need to traverse these dungeons in a different dimension, which seems ridiculous without context on second thought, but don't worry, I'll get onto that. And in each one, the song wheel mechanic is different. While I preferred some uses over others, I never felt like the mechanic ever got stale, which is honestly pretty impressive when plenty of first-party games can't even do that with multiple different mechanics. Oh, I don't have a specific example, I just wanted to throw shade. There are also a few areas that are kinda like a traditional rhythm game, where you'll need to accompany music by playing a specific note at a specific time and such. Not that I need to explain to you what a rhythm game is. Have you played Guitar Hero? Have you seen anyone play Guitar Hero? That's what it is. And sometimes, and I really like this part, the game will even let you make your own song in a specific time frame. Looking back, not many of my songs were very good. I mean, come on game, you can't just put me on the spot here. My genius takes time, as people are probably aware. But music also finds its way into this game's story as well. See, in this game he plays a bard who's had a premonition. In their dream, they were tested to be the hero of the realm, for the entire universe was about to end, as the goddess Ea demands it. The bard seems pretty shaken by this notion, though I don't really see why. Seems like a normal night's sleep to me. But as they wake up, they realize that the town of Langtree is under attack by ghosts. Spooky. Nothing a bit of song can't handle, though. Hey, that reminds me of a joke. What's a ghost's favorite tempo? Grave. Or is it just grave? Shoot. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced grave. Anyway, singing works somehow. After that, a cranky old lady who hates us teaches us a song that transports us to the spirit world. I wish I could do that. I would love nothing more than to get out of here right now. Yala, the spirit who kindly told us that our entire world was doomed, informed us that there was actually a way to undoom the universe, through singing the Earth Song. In order to even take a shot at singing it, the bard needs to traverse to different spirit realms to talk to the rulers of each, called the Overseers, and learn each piece of the song. These are the interdimensional dungeons I was talking about earlier. And so our bard begins their quest. Fresh off the presses of the spirit realm, we meet a young witch named Miriam, who coincidentally is also trying to save the world. How convenient. She's also the best character in the game. Also convenient. She's incredibly sassy and probably has some of my favorite lines in the entire game. We meet her grandma and she asks for our bard's name, which of course we can choose. Well, kind of. We only have a few letters to use from this wheel. I told you it did do everything. So, Plob. Yep, Plob is a good, respectable name. And now Plob's adventure truly begins, and also where I truly stop telling you the story. There are plenty of good twists and emotional moments that I think you could really experience for yourself. I don't want to be the guy to ruin it, surprisingly. Writing is the thing that really ties the game together and makes it a phenomenal experience, however. I already mentioned how I love the lines that Miriam has, but it really extends to any other given character or scenario. especially the scenarios now that I think about it. So much wacky stuff happens in this game, from bringing deceased family members back from the dead through a jam session, to forming a coup against an industrialist company town. The latter was probably another one of my favorite sections of the game, but that's kinda hard to say because so many areas are distinct and fun in their own way. Like, I also enjoy traversing Wizard Society, which kind of has this Metroidvania aspect to it, but now I'm kinda getting ahead of myself. Every character interaction is bustling with life and, dare I say it, charm that really sells the tone that most of the game has. Keyword is most, as there's a shift around halfway through the game that makes it significantly more relatable. The story is about the end of the world and one's place in it, so of course things can get kinda deep sometimes. I kind of really like this aspect because beneath that cute, childlike art style and wacky hijinks, there's a significantly more mature story hiding in the depths. That's all I should say for now. I don't want to do any more spoilers anymore. And with that, I'm kind of out of stuff to say. Again, I really wish I could say more, but it's really hard to talk about Wandersong without talking about the little things that would be extremely hard to explain without getting into those little things extensively. Like Ash, my favorite side character. Their whole storyline is very heartwarming and fun, and that's why it makes me love Chapter 2 so much. I can't really talk about it because there's kind of a lot that goes on, even though it's pretty early on. The fun instrument minigames after each Overseer encounter are also super fun, but extremely spoiler heavy. And the designs for the Overseers too. I was always excited to discover each of their personalities. So much fun. The lead up is always super fun too, especially the one with the waiting room music. Oh, and speaking of which, there's a dedicated dance button. You can unlock so many different dances too from this funny little mask man. There's even an obligatory skateboarding segment. God, too much fun. There's just so many little things that make Wandersong a full package. This game is 100% worth your time, and the people behind it really created something special here. And actually, they would later too, as Chicory, A Colorful Tale would release in 2021 with a very similar team. I've heard really good things about its story and music, so maybe I'll get around to it sometime in the future. But anyway, back to Wandersong. The game was a real journey, and if you like fun but somewhat deep stories, or even just fun character interactions, I would highly recommend picking Wandersong up. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say, so, uh-oh.